Hi, this is Adam, Small Town Machine Shop. Tonight, have you joined me for a bit? Working on getting the archdale drill press in action in the shop. We don't have too much more to do. Doing some wiring. As you know, this machine has been someone has been into it and changed a few things. So, like here's the original breaker or reset, and there's no wires to it. They added this obviously much more modern breaker setup. So one thing I noticed when I bought this machine is the tag that said 220 for 40 volt. The 220 volt stuff was all scratched out. Now, typically, when you buy a dual voltage machine, all the wiring and stuff is for the lower voltage, so the higher amps. Well, when they changed this disconnect, all the primary wire going up to here was just sized for the 440. So you need to run a new primary power up into here. And then we got rid of the part in there. I had to cut the wires to get the head off to get it in here. So these three wires are the primary feeds that come from the the wall. They go into here. And electrical stuff, if you don't know much about tracing it, do continuity check, find your main incoming power and all that. So it's pretty easy to trace out. So I'm going to eliminate these because the original power used to come up through the column, as it does on a few models of radial arm drills. There was some breaks in the insulation on that roto thing. I always forget the name of it. I'm going to eliminate that. So I'm just, instead of the primary power, I'm down here through the base, up to there, and back down out to here, I'm just going to run a cable from here to here. And run from here, it goes through the arm, goes here to the head. So we don't have to mess with any of that stuff. So first things first, I labeled these when I disconnected them. Actually, I think my uncle did. So we'll cut these here. And maybe cut them at the conduit back there. We'll get this hooked back up. And we will go from there. So I really need to get this machine going. I got a job for it coming up. So yeah, I'll bring it along as much as I can. Probably not much for the next part because I'm going to be up in the air. But I'll bring you back. Okay, ran the conduit up and the wires in. I'm 90% sure you guys can see me. You're on the tripod between two machines and the ladder. So now, connect them. I'm going to use some high quality, heat shrink crimp fittings. I would recommend, especially the heat shrink ones. And of course, I dropped one. So you'll get to see me put two on. I would highly recommend you buy good ones. That's number 5. There's number 5. Try to stay out of your guys' way if I can. The twisty poo. Be able to shove it in there, poo. I know some people don't like crimp fittings. I don't use them on like big motors. This motor's not very big. When I do, I always use the heat shrink ones. Okay, there we go. Make sure the wires are out of the way. Stay back. If you're going to use a torch, preferably you use one of those smaller butane torches. Be careful where your hand is when you're doing this. These ones I use have like a glue that gets on the wire. That's why I like them. Give it a little heat, let it do its thing. There we go. Now, got my other connector. Here's wire 4. There's wire 4. Around here, up. Trying to stay out of you guys' way if I can. I don't like that label being in there. I don't think it would hurt anything, but grab our crimpers. And of course, if you're not comfortable doing any kind of wiring, don't do this. I'm an electrician. Okay. Same thing. Keep the torch away. Get it heated up. Do it in little bursts. Don't melt everything. There we go. So the upper part is done. Well, once I put the other one on, put that on, put the cover in here, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, got that all buttoned up. Good to go. It's getting kind of late, so I don't know how much further we'll get. But I'll show you what's going on in here. It's the main disconnect. This comes out of here for the coolant pump. They kept the breakers the same at 50 amp. That wire is too small. So they changed the wire between there and there. So I'll see how much wire I need. And I will change the breakers to an appropriate size for the wire size I'm using and all that. Which 50 amp will be good for what I'm going to be using it for, because I'm using the higher, there'll be higher amps because I'm having the voltage. Now check all the contacts and everything in here. So yeah, just replace the wire from here. Here is where the incoming power will be. Run it to here. And then we'll replace the wire from here. Get rid of this nonsense. I do have to find where those 3 smaller wires go. I believe they just go to here for the coolant pump. We'll chase that out next time. And then I'll just come straight out at the bottom of here. And there's no knockouts in this. That's a pretty thick box. I can come in from the bottom. Yeah, I'm coming from the bottom behind this. I'll run the new power directly into here. Run through one of these holes. These wiring holes. Hook her up. And then we can give her a test. Now again, I did see this drill run. It ran fine. But especially pieces of equipment that have, this is a simple wiring setup. You always want to go through it because you never know what someone did. Yeah, very cool. I guess we'll call that a day on this one. This is Adam from Small Town Machine Shop. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.